Test 1, 2. What up, everyone? Hope everyone's having a pleasant Thursday night. Welcome to Jazzy Talk tonight. Very special guest, winner of the Jazzy Season 5 Auto-Qualifier at Arcade UFO. We welcome to the show Big Nasty.
Hey guys.
So, what up, Caesar? Glad to have you here, and I appreciate your time to talk about Jazzy, hype up the event, maybe increase that prize pool now that everyone knows that you're going to be in the tournament. But yeah, thank you so much for being on the show, Caesar. And yeah, tell me how you're doing now that you know that you're locked into the Jazzy finale.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Well, dude, I'm excited. I mean, I wasn't able to make it to the last one. I think the last two probably. I can't remember, but yeah, for sure not the last
No,
one because I
you
couldn't.
were at
So
free play. Remember
yeah, yeah,
remember the one
yeah, yeah.
before
Right.
Aki was the one at free play. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one I couldn't. Yeah, it was just the last one couldn't make it. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty excited to make it to this one and to see everyone. Um, I got all the days ready. Plane ticket and everything ready. So just waiting for the weekend to come by, dude. I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. I'm just totally distracted by the stuff that you have in the back, but it's a pretty
Um,
sick display, pretty sick room. Is that your man cave?
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's the game room, dude.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nice to
this is
have
the one
a
where it's the
mm,
forbidden room, dude.
the forbidden room. Yeah, and so yeah, I appreciate you letting us into your home and your man cave here.
Dude, anytime,
I see
dude.
some of the statues in the back. I see
Yeah, anytime,
the
dude.
Hugo Jazzy thing. And
Yeah, dude.
yeah, it's been great to see you as a player grow and develop. As we mentioned in the tweet that we put out just a few minutes ago. Uh, and by the way, I try not to rehash a lot of stuff that we talk about in my Mutant Experience podcast. A few years ago, Caesar, you were a guest on the Mutant Experience,
Yeah, yeah.
and well, again, I don't want to rehash it, but one of my favorite things about that first conversation that we had was hearing about how you got introduced to video games and fighting games. And so if maybe we could start the show by sharing a little bit about kind of your origins, how where you're from, and how you eventually got into fighting games.
Well, originally I'm from Mexico City.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and pretty much since I was growing up, I've been pretty much playing video games. I mean, my family bought me a a discount NES. It was like a pretty much bootleg NES, and
Mm-hmm.
they over there in Mexico they call it the family. That's what they called it. And then from there, pretty much I got introduced to video games. Then eventually in Mexico, there's a bunch of like meat markets called mercados, and all of them, no matter which one you went to, they always had like a corner or a section for arcade machines. Like it was like guaranteed, dude. No matter where you went, they will have arcade machines there. And pretty much one day, I remember that when I went there with my mom, uh, at the end of the hall of the arcades where the arcades were placed, there was a bunch of people just hanging there. So I went to look, and that was the first time I ever saw King of Fighters when it was there. So I had no idea what it was at the time though, but it looked really interesting. I was like, "What's going on? Why are these characters jumping around the screen and jumping and doing all this kind of wow shit?" So I came to find out that it was King of Fighters. Then after that, I went to another store and they had Street Fighter 2, but the Rainbow Edition. But I had no idea what Rainbow Edition was. So I started playing Rainbow Edition every time I came across that corner store. And then eventually, um, after a bit, uh, the main mercado that I would always went to eventually got Marvel versus Capcom and Tekken, I believe 3, I think at the time. And then after that, dude, I was hooked. Like every time I was going to the Mercado, I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom, dude. Like I would try to play it wherever I could find it, dude. So that was probably my first introduction to fighting games in Marvel vs. Capcom. Where I got to where like, well, I shouldn't say my first time introduced, but like when I got addicted to like really wanted to get competitive at a game, because Street Fighter 2 Turbo was, it's fun, but when you play with people who know what they're doing, it's not fun, right?
It's funny
So
that you mentioned those two games because those are
yeah.
the two side events at the Jazzy Finale this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on Friday we're gonna be doing Marvel 2
Oh nice.
on Dreamcast, and
Oh
on
shit.
Saturday is gonna be ST.
Oh nice, dude.
So
Yeah.
as a finalist, right? You technically don't have to play until Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know. Maybe we'll see Big Nasty in ST or in
I
Marvel.
mean, I'll do SD, dude. Two, dude. On two, I don't got the hands for that, dude.
For not for
I might
Marvel
get
too.
arthritis playing that.
Who do you play in ST? Geef?
Ryu and Gif.
Ryu and Geef? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Just because Ryu, I mean, Gif is really hard in that game, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how those players do it, dude. I really don't.
Yeah. So, how did you get into Third Strike? Like, when
So
did you first start, playing that game?
yeah, so eventually, just eventually when I got a Super Nintendo, I picked up ST. Like they had Street Fighter 2 Turbo, right? So from there, that's when I got hooked into Street Fighter. So eventually, when we moved here to the US, um, I pretty much I just kept playing whatever I could for fighting game related, because there wasn't much available, at least for me back then. And eventually, how I got introduced was because to shorten it out, I pretty much got into Melee, and one of the people who pretty much uh, played Melee played other fighting games. And then from there, they told me about combovideos.com. I don't know if you remember combovideos.com, the website.
Of course, yeah.
Uh, yeah, right. I feel like everybody knew that one, right? But anyways, so yeah, he told me about it, and he's like, "Yeah, man, just look into this. They always have videos. If you want to learn stuff, just go to there." And then randomly one day, they had it on the main page, the Hayao versus Umesano match, where Hayao pretty much parries Chun Li's SA2, like the first rep, and then Giga's right in the middle. But I didn't know what Third Strike was. I recognized Chun Li, right? Because I was thinking, okay, that's Chun Li, but who the hell is this other dude? Like I never seen him. Like he's a grappler, but that's not Zangief. So who the hell is it? And here, here I was already playing. At this time, I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and other stuff. Uh, but I did not realize that there was already a Street Fighter 3 when when I was already playing this. So nobody really introduced me to it. Like I randomly found it, dude. That's how I got introduced to it. A random clip on combovideos.com. And then from there, I literally that same day, dude, I started searching everything I could. I pretty much just, because the video for some reason didn't have the title of the game. It just said who the players were. So I was thinking, okay, that's Chun Li. So I literally started typing, okay, all Street Fighter games, and I started going down all the lists and everything, dude. And then I found out, okay, this is Street Fighter Third Strike. How can I play it, right? How can I play this fucking game? Well, I didn't have a Dreamcast, and there were really not arcades here with Third Strike, at least where I was at. So dude, dude, I swear it has to be like destiny or something, because I found out I found out about Third Strike, the anniversary collection, the 15th anniversary collection was gonna come out for Xbox, like I think in 2-3 months. So, and then I found out it had Third Strike in it, and I said, okay, dude, I have to get it. I have to play it now. And then from there, the rest is history, dude. Like I pretty much just started playing it. Then I found out about Planet Zero. My friend Swavian introduced me to Planet Zero. He told me, "Hey, do they have Japanese arcades?" And I was like, "What do you mean Japanese arcades, right?" He's like, "Well, Japanese and American arcades are really different. So you'll see what I mean when we get there, dude." And yeah, so I started playing Third Strike there whenever I could, and then eventually, uh, OE came out and stuff like that. So Yeah, to make it a yeah, long story short, dude, it was just a random clip that I found on Combo Beatles that it was my first taste of Third Strike, dude, and the rest is pretty much history. Actually, I was trying to play wherever I could.
Speaking of history, I wanted to talk a little bit about the first event that I met you at, which was Texas Showdown 2017.
Oh yeah, dude.
That was kind of what's so interesting about your story is at Texas Showdown 2017, and so again, not really sure where this falls in that timeline that you talked about, but like
Mhm.
no one really knew who you were at Texas Showdown.
Yeah.
Were you, and so yeah, you were this player that like again the third strike heads were really unfamiliar with, and so yeah, like tell me a little bit about Showdown 17 because that was a third strike tournament and one of the more exciting third strike tournaments that I had been to. And so yeah, you kind of in many ways came out of nowhere and ended up getting second against Chris G, but it was a very close competitive set, both in winners and grands. And so yeah, tell me a little bit about Showdown 17 and how you ended up entering third strike there and
Yeah, dude, you know
basically
what,
like you were
dude?
said, right, like changing the course of history or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you know what, dude? You are right. Dude. That weekend was pretty damn fun because I had no idea that there was a. To me, what really was surprising about that weekend is how many people were actually playing Third Strike. At least in Texas, and I should say, Houston and Austin and Dallas, because I was under the assumption that people were not playing locally, because what happened is that Texas Showdown is pretty deep. It's already way past what I said earlier, dude. This is already after Planet Zero shut down,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no local like arcade to play it on anymore. So the only way for you to play it was either someone had, uh, you know, a a PS2 copy, or anniversary collection, stuff like that, or uh, and this is before. Let me see. I'm trying to remember here, dude. So give me 1 second, sir. I'm sorry. So I was playing it pretty much whatever I could, right? Eventually, Planet Zero closed down, and emulation was pretty much just becoming to the point where you could play it online. So my main way of me playing it was online, even on Kylera. So Kylera, it was laggy as shit, right? But I mean, you played it and you made do with it. So that was my main way of playing it. And eventually, GGPO came out, 5K1 came out, so that's what I was playing it on. I didn't really have a reliable means of transportation back then, so I was pretty much stuck just playing it online, unless Swavin was going to, driving me somewhere, or he was gonna go to a meetup. So, anyways, uh, we're gonna jump a bit. So, eventually, since I didn't know that there were local people playing Third Strike, I was just on the assumption that it was probably me just playing it, or maybe some other dude in Houston playing it, and I remember that there was Insomnia. There was like that was a local place that opened up not too far from where I was at. I randomly found out about it, and Jesse there was randomly bring up Third Strike. Oh yeah, I remember now. OE, yeah, that's what it was. I didn't play OE because I didn't really have uh online on my Xbox and stuff. So I was like, well, you know, I gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna play this. So that's what I'm saying. 5K or GPO was my way to go. Anyway, so that's when I met Jesse. I was like, okay, so there are people playing. I just don't know where or who is, right? So after a bit, pretty much another friend of mine who I played Melee with, he told me about Texas Showdown. And he's like, "Hey, are you gonna go to Texas Showdown?" And I said, "I'm not really familiar with that." So he's like, "Oh, it's like our local, like our major." And I said, "Oh, okay. So it's like everybody, it's like a big fighting game tournament, right?" He's, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So, anyways, he went, he went, and I didn't wanna, I didn't really play any of the games that were being played on that tournament. I mean, during that time of Texas Showdown, I was only really playing. Third Strike and Melee still, but I wasn't playing like Street Fighter 4 or anything else. So I went just to hang out, and he told me like they're gonna have Third Strike, dude. So you should go and play. I was like, oh, okay. So eventually, uh, I went there and I said, well, I don't really want to pay the expect. I don't really want to pay the entry fee, dude, because I don't got anything else to play with, dude. I'm not gonna play that, so I'm just playing the spectator fee. So I went to the spectator as a spectator, and my friend was like, "Did you sign up?" I was like, "Dude, no offense, but I don't want to pay the whole thing for just for one game." He's like, "No, don't worry about it, dude. Here, use my badge because you only really had to pay for the game if you want it for that game, but just use my badge because before when this happened, like they didn't really do it online for the side games. For the side games, you had to pretty much pay on site, and then they will run the tournament. So uh, I can't remember, dude. I don't remember how it was. Something like that. I just can't remember, dude, how it happened. All I know is that,
So you
dude, I was
weaseled your
like,
way into the tournament.
I whistled my way into the
you
tournament.
you
Yeah,
weaseled your way into the tournament,
yeah,
and
I just
you.
can't remember exactly. I just remember that my friend told me like, "Here's my badge. Just pay the entry fee and then and just play the game." I was like, "Oh,
Well,
okay."
I hope no one from Texas Showdown is listening to the
Dude, they
podcast.
already know, dude. They already know. They already know, dude. Even my friend Face knows, dude. He's just like, "I didn't hear that." I said, "Okay." He's like, "I didn't hear that." And but anyways, dude, yeah, I was not planning to play, so because I didn't pay for the entry fee, so my friend pretty much spotted me with the badge, and I signed up as Kage, which was his
Hmm.
his tag.
Yeah.
So that's why I ended up with Kage, dude. Even though online I was already going as Big Nasty.
Hmm.
So yeah, so he was like, just give me credit. All right. I was like, I'll make your name look good for once. Don't worry about it, dude. I got you. So then that's
And
how
was
I
that
ended
your
up
first
there.
like? Was that your first Third Strike tournament?
That was my first. Let me see. Mm, I want to say it's my first major for Third Strike because
Okay.
I did enter some small tournaments
Hmm.
before, but nothing like Texas Showdown. Texas
Hmm.
Showdown was for sure my first major, dude.
So at your first major, you weaseled your way into the Third Strike
I did
tournament,
was
playing under an alias, playing as someone else.
yeah,
Pretty
dude.
sure that this is covered in the FGC code of conduct, I think.
Yeah, dude. I was like, man, I hope they don't find that. I'm like,
Yes,
there's no way.
Big Nasty, you are the original alt. You managed to do what most people can only do on Fightcade, which is
Yeah,
play
dude.
under an alt. You played under an alt offline, and it was your first major Third Strike
Dude, I,
tournament.
I smurfed my way into the tournament,
That is
dude.
nasty. I mean, that's
Yeah, dude, I
nasty.
smurfed.
That's big nasty. That's
Yeah,
some
dude.
nasty stuff. Well,
So,
let's talk
so
about
yeah, dude.
let's not dwell on this semi criminal activities too much. Let's talk about the actual games. And so you enter Third Strike, right? So how familiar are you with some of the players that were entered into the tournament?
Not no one, no one. I swear, dude. I didn't know.
Damn, not even Chris G.
I mean, besides Chris G,
I'm just
yeah.
messing with you. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
obviously, besides Chris G, I didn't know anyone, dude. Like, I think, like I said, I had already talked to Jesse before,
Uh-huh.
so I knew Jesse. Like, I was familiar with Jesse,
Hmm.
but outside of that, dude, I knew no one, dude. Like, no
Yeah.
one in that tournament. I didn't know, I didn't know you. I didn't know Rico. I didn't know, what's this called, Keo. None of the Austin guys.
Haas was there.
Oz was there. I didn't know
Luke
who
was
Oz was,
there.
dude. Dude, no
Luke
one. I
was
didn't know. I'm
there.
telling you, dude. I was
Cookie
like,
was in that tournament. Cookie was in
oh
that
my
tournament.
god, dude.
Big
Meeting Cookie
Mark.
for the first time was a trip, dude. I was like, what is going on?
Big Mark, I think, was at the tournament. I know
Oh, I don't
Colton
think
was
Big Mark was
there.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a bunch of players in that tournament. But
Yeah, dude. I
Kenny was there. Kenny was there.
Danny was. All the Austin guys were there, actually.
So
All of them.
so correct me if I'm wrong because my memory is always going in and out. But like I remember in during the tournament, you had a set with Kenny,
Yeah.
and like Kenny kind of like Kenny almost like kind of had you, and like at some point
Yeah.
during the set, and like but you ended up winning the set, and that
Hmm.
in a lot of ways kind of propelled you to winners finals and then grand finals. But yeah, tell me a little bit about what you remember like from actually playing in the tournament, like some of the matches that you had. Do you remember anything about kind of your path to grand finals in that
Yeah, I
tournament?
mean, I was really nervous because, like I mentioned before, didn't know anyone,
Hmm.
so I didn't know what to expect. I was here thinking like, man, this guy's gonna blow me the fuck up right now, dude. So, I mean, I was just playing there because my friend told me last minute, so
Yeah.
I said, yeah, screw it, dude. Let's just go for it.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then pretty much, uh, I remember most of my matches. I remember when I played Kenny. Kenny's was really close. Like he
Yeah.
almost took me out, dude. Like it was by a hair that I won
Bye.
that, dude.
It was
It was
so
by a hair, dude.
close.
I won by the skin of my teeth that day, dude. I really did, dude. Like so
Yeah.
I played Kenny, what's it called? Tommy two step, Chris G twice.
Wait, you beat
Uh
Tommy in that tournament?
yeah, I beat Tommy in that tournament.
Oh
Yeah, he
wow.
was still playing Elena back then though.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He was
Uh,
playing Elena, Chris G twice because the first time he played Ibuki,
mm-hmm.
and then of course we had the run back on grand finals. Um, but when I was playing, yeah, when I first played Kenny, I was like, holy shit, dude. Okay, I think I'm gonna lose here, dude. I think I'm done for. So that's like, okay, dude. Whatever happens, happens. And yeah, like I said, I barely won it. And what I remember most on that on from that tournament though is how many times I was switching characters throughout the whole tournament, dude. Like I couldn't stick to Hugo. I kept switching between Alex and Urian
Yeah.
because
I mean
I
that's
was
your
still
kind
playing
of
Banana.
that's the nasty trilogy, right? That's the nasty trinity.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
but
Alex, Urian, and Hugo.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like I wasn't really confident. I guess that's what I'm trying to say because I
Yeah.
was here thinking, oh man, before I even played my first tournament, I was already thinking if I lose my first match, I'm switching to Alex or Unit immediately. Dude. I'm not gonna try to play Hugo again. Like that was that's how nervous I was. Like I wasn't confident on my Hugo at all, even
Mm-hmm.
though I had already been playing right. So,
Mm-hmm.
but since I never played in this level before, I wasn't, you know yeah, I didn't know what I wasn't really that confident. So, but yeah, uh, but I remember when I started talking to people, dude. I still remember when what's his name, Luke came up to me and he gave me a beer, and I was like, dude, I was like, who's this tall ass dude? It's like, hey man, good shit, man. It's like, where you from? I'm like, I'm here from Houston, dude. I kept looking at him like, dude, you're so tall, man. And but he was saying, yeah, man. It's like, why can you never come out? I was like, dude, I'll be honest with you, I had no idea that there were people playing this or that people were coming out to Houston to play Third Strike at like at Texas Showdown. So I guess my impression was like, man, people are really cool. You know, I was uh, I was hearing that impression that maybe everybody is kind of hardcore and they keep to themselves or something like that. But no, everybody that I talked that weekend was really nice. Everybody was really cool. Everybody was welcoming. And I remember we kept telling me like, after the tournament we're gonna be in this room. If you want to run some games, we're gonna be there chilling, stuff like that. I was like, man, this is awesome, dude. I was I was really excited that to meet everyone and you know uh even though grand finals I choke, it was still a really good and I still remember it, dude. I mean, I still remember when we even did team. I mean, we were doing teams and I was like, man, I don't I wanted to ask some people if they want to be on our team, but I was so nervous, dude. We ended up yeah, the team that I ended up being was my friend Kage and damn, I can't believe I forgot his name, dude.
So you
John.
teamed up with yourself in the team
Yeah, I team
tournament.
up with my twin, dude.
Caesar, this is some Inception level the
Yeah,
story
yeah,
here. This is unprecedented. Your
yeah,
first major tournament experience.
yeah. Ended up with Josh and me and dude. I didn't know Keo. Like I said, I didn't know Keo. But looking back, at it, I was like, Keo was looking for a partner, but I saw him. And I was like, this dude looks like he might beat me up. Nah, dude, let's just go to another person, dude. So I skipped it, even though he was looking for a partner, because I mean, he was fucking buff, dude. So I looked at him, I was like, nah, dude, I don't want to lose, and then this dude is gonna like choke me or some shit. So We ended up with Josh, yeah. So it was us, and it was the tournament where everybody had to run the same character. So we ended up running Ken, and we got blown up. I think we ended up 2-2 that day, and but I didn't really talk to anyone yet, you know. So it was eventually during the main brackets that I started talking to people. Dude, it was yeah. And from
Yeah.
there, I was just thinking like, man, where else are you guys, playing? Where are you guys gonna be? Is there gonna be more tournaments for this or what? Right. So I was just trying to find out where everyone was hanging out now or what people are doing because uh I think during that tournament the only Houston players that I can recall was me, Jesse, and another local Iwuki player from our scene, but he doesn't play that much. And Face, of course, Face. But outside of that, that was it. That was it, dude. Like I couldn't really think of anybody else, dude. So, um, but yeah, dude, that's that weekend that pretty much got me into it because before this, I wasn't even playing much. I was even thinking like, man, why am I even playing this game? Like nobody's playing it locally. But I got proved wrong that weekend, dude.
Yeah, like after that tournament, you started to, that was kind of your introduction to the scene, I guess. That was kind of the weekend where you became part of the third strike crew. And so,
Yeah, pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah, it was a fun weekend. And so, like, I want to talk a little bit more about like Hugo because you were alluding to it earlier. You kind of have like a trinity of characters that you kind of go back and forth with. You again, it's like usually Hugo, Alex, Urian. You won the arcade UFO auto qualifier with Urian, and so yeah, like talk to me a little bit about Hugo though, because I think most people know you best for your Hugo. Uh, you've been a constant competitor at Jazzy, and I like to consider you to be kind of a fan favorite, right? You always get the people behind you, and a lot of that has to do with the character.
Yeah.
But I think you know, I don't know. Like, tell me a little bit about just kind of that, that mentality though. Like why do you use this character? I mean, probably a lot of it has to do with Hayao, but like when you're competing with this character and you know that like most of the matchups are not in your favor and you have to play like really really godlike and then add to that the tournament atmosphere, people, seeing, watching you play, right? Because when you're kind of you're using like a low tier character and you're going up against a higher tier character, I almost feel like the microscope is on you a little bit more, right? Because you're being very careful of your approach in the match. But yeah, like tell me a little bit about like Hugo, like why do you main him, and just kind of describe to me like what it's like to compete, especially against like really godlike players. Like the one tournament that like there are a couple of tournaments I think that to me stand out when I think about your Hugo. One of them is I don't know which one came first. I think maybe the next level Auto-Qualifier. Remember when you came to New
Yeah.
York and
Yeah.
you had that and you had defeated Ahmed uh in winner's side, I think. And
Yeah.
but then he ended up running it back on you in
Yeah,
grand
he ran it back.
finals.
It was really close to dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Chun Hugo. And then I think you may have followed that up. I think maybe that no, but I think the season prior you were at Frosty, right?
Yeah.
Frosty 2020, and you lost the grand finals against Steelhammer, which is a Urian. So like those are the two like tournaments where like I really remember you just kind of showcasing just how skilled you are with this character, because like I said, the margin for error is not, that great, and sometimes openings are few and far between, especially,
Mhm.
in matches like Hugo Yuri and Hugo Chun. So yeah, like kind of try and walk me through what it's like to like compete with that character and like what's kind of your approach and like what do you do and stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean, dude. Because I have gotten that question before. It's like, why Hugo, right? Like, dude, you're
Yeah.
so it's so hard with that character. Like, why you do that,
Do you
bro?
like to? Is it just a struggle, dog? Do you just like to struggle? Is
Dude,
that
I guess it's
some
a
people
Mexican
just like to
tradition, dude.
struggle,
We just
right?
like to
But
struggle, I
I don't
guess.
know. But yeah. Tell me a little bit of kind of like yeah. Well, what's that like? You know, when you're using Hugo.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, it's really um it feels really satisfactory and rewarding, at least to me,
Hmm.
whenever you win with Hugo, because uh like it's an addicting feeling when you win with him, because you gotta play a certain way to win. And Gigas, dude. I mean, every time I land Gigas, I'm just like, fuck yeah, dude. I landed that shit, dude. So I know it sounds silly, dude, but every time I landed, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I landed that shit, dude. So it's a combination of winning with the character feels really satisfactory, and Gigas just landed every time and finding ways to fucking land it. And honestly, dude, it triggers people. So sometimes that cracks me up, but it's mainly because I just like the character too, dude. It's everything about the character is just really draws me in. Like um how he's animated, his supers, how hard it looks like when he hits you, or when he does an SPD, how the screen shakes, stuff like that, small details. So he just every pretty much. Sorry, I know I'm just repeating myself here, but it's just everything about the character just makes me wanna play the character. And at the end of the day, I know what I'm putting myself through when I play this character.
Hmm.
But I know that at the end of the day, like if I won, I'm like, yeah, yeah, that was tight. That was worth it, dude. Because it is cool to win with Urian, Ken, and stuff like that. But sometimes like I'm like, well, yeah, Urian is fucking cool, but I can be cheap as fuck with this character if I wanted to, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah, I know it sounds kind of weird. It's just like I like to be able to kind of read my opponent and then do some of those crazy reads,
Hmm.
because you kind of need to do that with Hugo, right? You need to take risk eventually, right? Because otherwise nothing happens. So whenever I read a good backbreaker, or I read a dashing into SP, I mean gigas, stuff like that, those small things. I know I say small things, but to me, whenever you do those things, I'm like, okay, dude, I was tight. So yeah, um, yeah, that's the best way I can put it, dude. It's just really satisfactory to play him every time you land a SPD, gigas, win, pretty much. That's the best way for me to summarize it.
There's a player. I think uh there's a player in the. I think they're from Austin. They call
Hmm.
them Little Nasty. They go.
Yeah, no, it's from
Is that
Dallas.
oh from Dallas?
From Dallas, yeah, Lil Nasty, dude. Yeah,
Little Nasty.
Lil Nasty. Yeah, yeah, dude. Dude,
So
have you seen the dude? Have you actually seen
I
Ultimate Team?
only on stream. I remember
Dude,
you were commentating together one time.
dude,
Is that your
when
son? Is that your son?
dude, when Wax first told me, when he told me like, dude, he looks just like you, I was like,
Yeah.
shut up, dude, no way, you guys are just saying that because he plays Hugo. Then I met the dude, I was like, holy fuck, dude, my dad might have a like a
Oh
baby.
no.
Dude, I was like, my dad must have another kid. No way, dude. This
Oh
this dude
no.
kind of does like me, dude. And I
Yeah.
was like, God damn, I can see why they were calling him Lil Nasty, dude.
No,
And I had no idea too, so
yeah. Now, did Little Nasty play because he saw you play?
I'll be honest. Damn, dude. You know what? I must sound like now I feel like an asshole because I have never asked him why he picked Hugo. You know what? I feel
Yeah.
like an asshole now because
Maybe you're the
I've never asked him.
reason, you know?
Yeah, maybe it's
Maybe,
another reason, but
yeah.
I never wondered. He just
Yeah.
he just asked me questions and I answered them, but I never really
Yeah.
asked him like, why do you play Hugo? Like he asked me, what do I do on
Uh,
I like to troll him, and whenever he asks me, so what are I doing this matchup, and I some dude, I'm like, dude, just pick another character, dude. Just you're young, dude. You're young, dude. Don't you don't want to look 40 when you're like reaching your 30s, dude, or
yeah,
45, dude. Okay, yeah, just pick another character. And he's just like, man. But yeah, I
yeah,
ended up giving him tips. But yeah, he's a little nasty, dude.
yeah,
That it's like my clone, dude. It's crazy.
yeah. I mentioned
Dude,
little. Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, dude. I was just gonna say I'm calling it now, dude. But if that kid just keeps playing,
Uh-huh.
he's gonna be a beast, dude. Like he's gaining knowledge and skill really, really fast, dude.
Hmm.
So it's crazy how players nowadays are gaining the skills to get really to be really solid at the game. It took me forever, dude.
Yeah, I
It took
wanted
me
to.
forever.
I actually wanted to ask you that. Like, how did you get to this level of Hugo? Like, what do you think were some of the things that you did that allowed you to get better? Not just at the
Mm.
game, but at the character. You know.
It was really hard, dude, because when I first found out about the game and try to pick it up, the only really knowledge base that we had was SRK forums. And SRK forums, I mean, I don't know if you remember the sections for like games was like
Oh, I remember
literally.
SRK forums.
Yeah, but
Just
they had
I
their own
remember.
sections for like their own wikia for certain video games,
Yeah.
and that wikia had like supposed to be breakdowns of characters, but it was so bare bones that it barely had anything. So I was like, dude, and Hugo's was so bad. It literally just told you, oh yeah, you can combo super from this jumping and from this, and that was it. There was like no strategy, no way to tell you what you should do during neutral. Nothing, dude, nothing. And when you went to the actual forums, like the threads, it was just guys saying some wild shit like, "Oh man, if you jab, 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 and then dash into the after the jabs, it's like a good way to land gigas." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Man, I don't know about that, dude. I don't play grapplers
That
that
third
much, but
strike.
I
That
don't
that third strike.
know."
Fake news.
Yeah, no, dude. So, but yeah, so for me it was hard because I had no source, like no resources to learn the game. So it was either just trying to keep looking for clips online for the game, and uh, eventually when Swabbing was taking me to Planet Zero when I actually found out about it. But when I had it on 15th anniversary, I was literally just messing around with the game. I was actually picking up Akuma too, and then I went back to Hugo because I realized I couldn't do 360s at first. So I gave up on Hugo, went to Akuma. Then I found out Akuma melts after a couple hits. I said, never mind, go back to Hugo. So eventually, I even picked up one of those Pelican arcade sticks, those jank ass ones, dude. That was my first ever stick, dude. Those Pelican jank sticks for like the Xbox and PS2. Um, and eventually, um, what's it called? When I was playing it on Planet Zero, that's when I was getting a bit more knowledge. But nobody played Hugo. I was literally the only Hugo player in the whole city, dude. Like no one else played Hugo, dude. Eventually, like there was a group that was playing locally outside of Planet Zero, and they were playing Third Strike as well. They were playing everything except Hugo. So when I had really no way to ask anybody about how to play the game with Hugo, so I had to learn the hard way, right? Just try everything. Just try everything until some shit work. Eventually, when online Third Strike happened, then it was easier because people started actually being able to communicate better about certain things, right? I could actually put it on the chat and ask, or people who actually other than me played the character were like, oh yeah, you can do this for this, you can do this for that. But a lot of my tech that I even do to this day, I learned it like I was just trying shit out, dude. I would go online and I would play for like 6 hours sometimes out a day and just try everything I could think of and see what worked. So like most of my Giga setups, that's how I learned them. They just learn them the hard way. It's just like, okay, let me do universal overhead. Let me what's it called, with something, and then just do Giga stuff like that. So uh online Third Strike helped me a bit more to too advanced. But at the end of the day, since I didn't really have someone to really help me, and my main source was YouTube videos of Hayao, that's where I was getting a lot of ideas too. That's pretty much how I built my game. And eventually, when more resources became available, I started getting more and getting more knowledgeable. But it was a really slow process, dude. It was so slow, dude. It was really like I felt like I was never gonna get solid at this game, dude. It was. I honestly don't know how I actually like stayed and played the game for that long, because there were times where I was just thinking, yeah, I mean, am I supposed to get good here? Right? So, and with fighting games, right? Like the only way for you to get good is if you get your ass kicked a lot of times, right? But imagine it, you getting your ass kicked a lot of times, but there's no real solid way, or like there's no solid like a database for you to like get ideas from, right? You just literally saying shit. Okay, I got my ass handed to me now. I literally have to think what I should be doing, right? There's no point of reference that I could say, oh yeah, like I remember this video said this, do this, right? Or oh yeah, like dude, I didn't even know about carry canceling. Carry canceling was something that I learned way after I was already playing the game, dude. Like I didn't even knew there was carry canceling either, dude. In partitioning, when I found out about partitioning, I only found out about partitioning because that someone posted a YouTube video or Hayao video, and some random dude commented saying, "Oh, that guy is cheating. How are you doing standing gigas like that?" And someone just posted, "Oh, you can partition it," and you're like, "What the hell's a partition?" So the dude actually posted on a YouTube video, "Oh, you're splitting the SPD, I mean the motion into two circles." And I was like, "What? How was I supposed to know that?" So yeah, dude, it was just tits and bits. It was crazy, dude. So yeah, it was just a slow process, dude. But eventually we got solid at the game, and I'm not. I mean, I still get my ass kicked, but it's not as free as it used to be, dude.
Uh, I want to talk about like this idea of fear with
Mhm.
Hugo, right? Like, how do you um Cole, Afro Cole, shout outs to Afro Cole, super FGC OG in the chat. He commented high level players that play low tier characters are very scary and intimidating. And so like as a Hugo main, like how do you like scare the opponent? Like how do you, you know,
That's
uh,
a
like what does that
that's a
mean? Like what does that mean? Like even,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like what
yeah.
does that mean to for a Hugo to be scary? Like
Yeah, and I know what you mean, dude. Like the best, it's really not as simple as it sounds,
mhm,
because I guess what makes a good Hugo scary is, of course, I mean, besides pairing, right? But then again, every character can do that, right?
mhm,
A Hugo that can parry is always gonna be a bit extra scary, just because that means that if they parry your shit, you're gonna eat an SPD, right?
mhm,
But outside of that, I think what's a good scary Hugo is that it feels like they can read, or it feels like they know how you're trying to get them, if you know what I mean. Like,
mhm.
for example, I guess what I'm trying to say is like they have really good reads. I guess that's the best way to say it. Because, for example, what I think makes Sandbags really scary, dude, is not that he can parry. Because if you look at his matches, he parries, but he doesn't parry as much as other players that I seen that play Hugo. He's just that his reads are insanely good, dude. And his comeback potential is insane, just because his reads. It's just he seems to know what you're gonna do. So for me, it feels like he feels like at certain points he's like his gameplay feels like it's choking you, because it feels like he knows what you're gonna try to do, and you're like, God damn, dude, I can't even do anything.
Because he
So
probably does. Like when
yeah,
you think about
exactly.
all the hours that play that that Sandy Bags has logged, you get to a point where it's like you just have experience in a lot of these situations and interactions and exchanges. Like it may be new to you, or maybe you've only seen it a few times, but maybe your opponent has seen it multiple times. Maybe they've seen it enough times where they wanted to lab it, right? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I do agree with like Sandy Bag. It seems like you know he's ready no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah. He's always has an answer for something,
Yeah.
dude. And I'm just like, dude, how the hell did you know that I was gonna go for that? Like, it
Hmm.
makes no like, no way you knew that, dude. But then he does, because he like he calls you out on stuff that you're gonna be like, all right, let me try it again and see what's fake. If he was fake, and no, he actually reads it right, dude. So I guess I would say there's three things that I think will make a hero scary. It's reads,
Hmm.
uh, some conditioning, and then after that, of course, your pairing, and then after that it'll be spacing. But some of these are basics, but I think, of course, I guess you could say that all these can apply to any character, right? But I think for a Hugo, what makes it really scary is that their reads are just really good, because, um for
No, I mean, like,
example.
no, that's a good point. Like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
every character can read, or right? Like, you can make reads. Excuse me, I'll say that another way. You can make reads with any character,
Yeah.
but it's not always their strengths, right?
Yeah.
So it's not always advantageous for certain characters in certain situations during a point in a round for reads. But
Yeah.
for
But
Hugo, yeah, it's almost like like it's almost like yeah, it's like the reward potential is almost too much to pass up on the read, right?
yeah, because what I was trying to lead at is like, yeah, of course, right? Like, if you do good reads, it leads to the next point, which is conditioning, right?
Uh-huh.
Because it feels like, well, dude, this guy feels like I know he knows what I'm gonna do, so what
Uh-huh.
can I do, right? So at that point, you you have him there where you can start doing a bit more, of like, certain setups, right? Like clap dash into SPD, or clap with universal overhead, so they'll jump, stuff like that, right? So, um, a Hugo that can condition you to do certain things like that, where it's just like, man, I'm sure, since you already see me do this a couple of times, I'm pretty sure you're gonna jump here, and that's how I end up landing a lot of my backbreakers, dude, because it's just like, oh yeah, dude, I can already hit you with this so many times. I'm pretty sure you're gonna try to do this now, and yeah, it's backbreaker. Just like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm pretty damn sure I'm gonna hit it, and I hit it, dude. So, and a lot of people always seems like, dude, why? Like, no way you're hitting that shit like that consistently. Because I'm like, well, there's two reasons why. First, if I'm a neutral, I'm buffering the shit out of it. I learned that the hard way. Like, I have to buffer it. Second is because on certain situations, if you keep landing on the same situations, most likely you're gonna do something, right? Usually certain things that people are gonna do, right? And from experience, of course, right? You're either gonna do this or that. And a lot of times I'm here thinking, okay, you have me this, so only logically you're gonna do this one, this thing, and I'm pretty sure I can land backbreaker with that, so it's gonna hit it. So eventually, once they feel like they can jump on you because of those reads, then then yeah, dude, it feels like, like, well, I should not really be pressing or try to do many jump ins or try to jump in, or going to this guy too much, and that's when you actually start feel like, this Hugo is a bit, it's scary, right? Like, I need to be more careful, or and let me figure out what to do, right? And then, right, I can start trying to go for a bit more, I don't want to say wild, but I take a bit more risk, right? I can actually start trying to go dash gigas, empty jump gigas, right? And then sometimes it feels like, man, that's stupid, dude. Why you just jump gigas, empty jump gigas? Because I'm like, because I was pretty sure that you were either gonna try to parry it, or you're scared that, I'm gonna do empty jump into backbreaker or something. So, you know, reads, and then conditioning, and then after that, of course, your parries, right? If you can land parries and you can land it consistently, right, then it leads again back to like condition, right? Because I'm like, well, I'm not even gonna press a button if you can just keep pairing it, right? So,
Hmm.
I personally think those will be the last the three things that pretty much make that ego scary, dude. uh for me, I think my reads are not as good. That's why I'm always saying that Sandbag still, like, if that dude were to come back and play again, I was like, dude, that dude will be the best one. Like, give him a bit, and he'll be the best one again, just because he's well, because his thought process is just really good, dude. Um, I think I think for me, I think my best. trait, if I were to say that, probably what makes me probably makes me scary. I guess if you want to put it that way, and it's just personal opinion, of course, because I don't know how the other players feel about me. But I think for me is that I can, I'm able to just really be patient and pick my buttons like when like I really need to press a button, and then I'm willing to wait until I got that set up for gigas, dude, because I when it's tournament mode, dude, I'm willing to wait out the damn clock if I need to, dude. Like I'm willing to do it. So for me, I think it's a bit for me. My strong point, I think, it's my patience, and I'm think the like Jesse and Amy were talking about it the other day, and I think for me, my the best I know how to use crouching medium kick really well. Like I think I have the spacing on that button really well, so I'm always able to kind of space stuff like I want to. So yeah, I think for me, what makes it scary is just that I'm willing to wait, and you know, I'm gonna wait for me to be able to get that gigas, and I'll just not press buttons if I don't need to. I know you're gonna be probably looking for a bait my parry, so I'm just gonna SPD stuff like that. So I think for me, I think it's just the patience. It's just I'm willing to just wait it out. But I don't know. Like I said, it's just personal opinion on how I think I play.
So I want to try and again get more inside your head as a Hugo player. So like you were talking earlier about a lot of learning Hugo and getting better at the characters, trial and error. You were talking about experimenting with different 720 setups, and so I wanted to talk about just kind of like because you choose. You were talking about Sandy Bags, right? And for those who are in the scene, we know that Sandy Bags is primarily a SA3 Hugo. You're
Hmm.
the SA1 Hugo, and so as the SA1 Hugo, like how are you approaching the match? Because are you like because when I play a SA1 Hugo, like I feel like my weakness in that matchup is I'm always assuming that my opponent that the only thing that they're trying to do right is land Gigas, right?
Yeah.
And so but what's your approach? Because sometimes like I feel like when I land Gigas, when someone lands Gigas on me, like it feels like it's a lot of times more like in the scramble or something that's kind of improvised, like there's an exchange and then
Mm.
there's kind of interactions, multiple interactions that might lead to the gigas. But like what's your like approach to landing the gigas? Like are you like when the match starts, are you like, okay, I'm gonna land this gigas, and so do you have like a plan like from the beginning of the round, or are you just trying to like are you trying to put your opponent in certain situations that will make it harder for them to escape a gigas? Like kind of what's kind of your approach as the SA1 Hugo as far as trying to with the super, right? Like are you like
Yeah.
do you have a plan, or like yeah, well like what's kind of going through your mind when you're playing around with that super?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a multi-layer one because it depends on a lot of things really.
Mhm.
Because for example, there's some characters I feel I'm just not gonna land it because they're so slippery, right?
Mhm.
So for example, like Oro, Akuma, I even dare say 12 because he flies so much. But uh, it's the way I think it is like my main thing is I want the opponent to be on the corner, right?
Okay.
So that's usually my main game plan, right? I think I want my opponent to be on the corner because once they're on the corner, it's more manageable to do a lot of things, right? Especially futsis, right? So and Hugo has decent buttons to play futsis with. So once they're in the corner, and if I have gigas, my thought process then it comes down to like you know if it's a first round, it's a final round. Do I have the lead? Do I not have the lead? Stuff like that. So it's that's what I mean by it's multi-layer. Because for example, let's say I already have gigas, right? And it's the start of the first. I'm sorry, start of the second round, right? And I have gigas. I'm gonna try to land it in the first few seconds if possible, because I don't want to be holding on to that bar, because at that point I feel like I'm just wasting the bar, like I'm not doing anything with it, right? I could be doing more with that stuff, right? So I want to try to land it, but I don't want to be too desperate about it, because then at the end, then I'm just, just nothing's gonna work out. So if I can land it within the first few seconds, great. If not, screw it. Okay, I'm just gonna keep playing just the neutral, or see if we can get a setup going, right? Um, but going back to when they're on the corner, and if I have gigas, then I'm gonna play to the point where they're gonna get annoyed. I'll try to play to the point where they get annoyed, or they're gonna try to get out the corner. So that it's either gonna lead to me uh landed either gigas, or just keep playing the footsie game into eventually, either I get the life lead, or maybe I had a bad read and they escape or something like that. But I'm gonna try to get you to the point where you're like, okay, you're gonna try to do something, and I'm looking for it. So, for example, like, jump parry, dive kick, maybe um, wake up shoryu, or sweep, and I'm thinking he's gonna do sweep. I'm gonna do MT universal overhead into gigas, right? Or let's say that I have gigas, they're on the corner. I did clap, like max distance clap into dash, so I don't get grabbed. And then I wait there, and I'm gonna see what they do. And if I see a jump, backbreaker. And then let's say I might go for it again. And then I'm gonna buffer the first SPD off on the dash to see if they're gonna do anything. If I see that they're not gonna do anything, then I do gigas.
Hmm.
But let's say, for example, like I did clap into dash twice for some reason, and then they jump twice. I'll be like, okay, dude, you're most likely either gonna expect me to do clap again or something else. So I'm gonna do universal overhead into gigas,
Hmm.
and I'm thinking you're not gonna jump. So I'm gonna do that. So stuff like that, man. So what I'm trying to get at is like, if I can condition you into landing it, that's great. If I can't land it, and I mean it's hard. There's gonna be those runs where just no matter how much you try, it's you're not gonna land it, and it's not good either, because a really smart opponent is gonna see it, right? They're gonna notice that you're trying to land it, and at the end of the day, if you try to force it, you're most likely gonna lose it, because let's say that you're gonna land it, you do land it after forcing it, but I would say most of the time when you do go that route, you're losing a lot of health in exchange to just landing gigas. So unless the character is Akuma, most of the time, it doesn't work out favorably most of the time. Just because it depends which character you're playing against. If it's Ken, if it's Chun Li, if it's Yun. I mean, I was like, man, okay, I landed it, but look at the. Like, I still have to do a couple more guesses to win this. So like, it was not worth it me trying to force it. So I guess what I would say is just my thought process would just be, if I can condition you to land it, and if I see the opportunity to land it, I'm gonna do it. If I just don't see opportunity to do it, I'm just gonna use the bar for something else, because then I'm just holding on to it, and I'm just not doing anything right. It's hurting me more in the long run. So, but I wouldn't force it. I wouldn't try to force it too much. And I'm learning this from experience. And I see it with a lot of Hugo players. They always try to force it, dude. They always try to do that shit. It's like, I'm just gonna need to land it. I just need to land it to win. And I'm like, dude, don't do that, man, because it's it's not gonna work out most of the time. So it's hard though. It's hard because when you land it, you see that life bar go down, right? And you're like, hell yeah, dude. Maybe I still have a chance. But
Hmm.
it's hard. It's their shot we're talking about, right? Like
Hmm.
it depends on the opponent as well. So, um, but yeah, I guess that I would say that'd be my thought process, dude. I mean, it's something that I still think about, like like maybe, um, you know, is it is it smart to still play SA1, right, after all these years? But it's just satisfactory to land it, dude. I mean, like I said earlier, every time I land it, I'm like, hell yeah. Right? But at the end of the day, that's my moral win. If it's in a tournament and it cost me the match, I was like, okay, that was pretty dumb. So yeah, and that is something actually that Ryan uh, Ryan told me like on that first Jazzy Finale, he's like, dude, he's like, dude, you know what your problem is? And he's like, you're trying to do you're I see I see how you're playing. You want to be a crowd pleaser. Like you just want to do sick shit, right? You want to land gigas. You want to be the people's champ. I
People's
get it.
champ. Yeah.
He's like, I get it, dude. You want to be the people's champ, but that's not gonna get you wins, dude. Okay, I'm just being real with you, right? He's like, it's yeah, you want to land gigas. You want to be make people happy. You want to get people hyped up, but let's be honest, at the end of the day, that's not gonna get you too many good results, man. And you press too many buttons. So, I would just say don't press so many buttons. And if you can do six check when you actually have the opportunity, then that's cool. But yeah, don't be trying to force it all the time. And that was something I really needed to hear. Like
Uh-huh.
sometimes people don't like hearing or someone telling like, hey, your your playstyle is dumb, or you're doing a lot of mistakes, right? But sometimes people gotta tell you straight up. They gotta be like, hey man, you need to stop doing this because it's just hurting your game plan, right? Like stop
Yeah.
doing that silly stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of the best things someone ever told me. And I think the second best thing that someone told me was what you told me when
I told you
Frosty
something.
Fawson's. Yeah, yeah, you told me
Yeah,
something,
I
man. Yeah, I was like
forgot.
that small advice that you told me on Frosty Fawson's before I went to play Lance,
Uh,
and was I was like, damn, that makes so much sense, dude, but I could never put it into words. And it was just like, okay, dude, think about it. He's like, think about how like can people open you up easily or not, right? And I was like, well, I don't know. He was like, well, think about it, dude. Think about it. Can they open you up or not? Like, what do you need to do, right? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, okay. Hold on, let me think about it. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? Like, why? Like, maybe I should just hold back. It's like, yeah, dude, like just think about it.
yeah, because
And then
for me,
it's
right? Like for me, what makes a Hugo really scary is their defense.
mm,
Like Hugo has really good offense. He has some good jump attacks, and especially when you play like say for example in an online environment, like I'm so free to like jump splash, right? Like I can't I can't react to Hugo's jumps. He has like one of the slowest jumps, but for some reason I can't react to it online. But
yeah,
like to me, like what really scares me about Hugo, like a Hugo player, is like their defense. Like
mm,
they whiff punish everything. They don't take any risks. They don't like because to me, like when you use something like Gigas, I feel like it's like if we just kind of simplify the game plan, like we know how much Gigas inflicts on every character, right?
mm,
So, like, to me, like, why not take this game plan where, okay, I'm going to, try and, not play passive, but again, not be scared to play the neutral against my opponent. You know what I mean? Like, my advice to you was not just hold down back, but just play the neutral, right? Just
mm,
play the neutral. Block when you have to, punish when you can. Just try and play the neutral, and it's tough, right? But like you said earlier, Hugo has pretty good buttons in the neutral.
mm,
And so, say, you do pretty well. And remember, it almost doesn't even really matter how much damage your opponent inflicts on you. You know what I mean? Because if they're playing footsies right, like, and if you're doing fairly well, you're probably, inflicting a lot of damage on them. And it's
yeah,
just a matter of getting them to a point where it's like the opponent's like, oh shit, a Gigas could win the round now.
yeah,
And then the whole meta of the round changes. You know what I mean? So it's like to me, like what makes a Hugo player scary is like, yeah, just like how well they're able to defend themselves. Like right, you said right, like don't get opened up. Don't give your opponent incidental meter, right? Like especially in matchups like Chun versus Hugo. You know what I mean? Like you don't
yeah,
ever want to make sure Chun earns every inch of that meter. You know what I mean?
mm,
Because once you make it hard for her, then you're building meter, you're getting damage on her. Then hopefully, if things pan out, of course this is all ideal situation, right? But if all
yeah,
things pan out, now you've gotten your opponent to a certain life, to a certain life amount where now they're starting to think about gigas. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense the way you're putting it. Um, and yeah, I mean, I didn't really mean it like hey, just hold back, but
Yeah, yeah,
like it's just the way you said it, like as in
yeah.
like hey, you like think about it, can he really open you up or not?
Yes,
Like
yes.
let's be real, right? Like can he open you or not? And I was like, well, I'm not sure. And he's like, you were like, well, think about it. It was like, like from how you guys been playing before, do you think he can open you up or not? And you were like, I don't think he can open you up. So, think about playing it around that. But I have never thought about it. I know it sounds weird, but I never really thought about it like, oh yeah, like, hey, can this player actually open my defense up or not? Like that's something I never really thought about until then, right? Because I'm always the way I was always thinking is like, can I actually open
Hmm.
this guy's defense up, right? That's how I was thinking most of the time because I was playing a bit more aggressive during this time, right? I was trying to still be a bit patient, but not as patient as I am now. Before I was still trying to a bit force a few things, but then once you told me, it's like I was like, yeah, that makes sense because like, well, if he has problems opening me up, eventually he's gonna get frustrated, and eventually he's gonna start making mistakes, right? And eventually you can start doing a bit more things, right? Or start thinking like, okay, he's probably gonna try to do this because the other thing didn't work out, right? So stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like that thing Ryan told me and that thing you told me that is probably like two of the best things that probably like people told me that really made me think really different because I was just I was just trying to figure out, hey, like, hey man, how can I win this round, or hey, how can I land gigas, right? But yeah, it's just a it's just thought process. You just learn the hard way sometimes.
Yeah, like when I play, like when I see Hayao play, and I got the privilege to see Hayao play live when I went to Japan. Like the one thing that I noticed right away, he don't give you nothing. Like
No, he
he doesn't
doesn't.
give you anything. He's solid as fuck. Like he just don't give you anything, right? Like he's just super solid. Whiff punishes everything. Doesn't let you get away with unsafe shit.
No,
It's like,
no,
and it's just like it's increasing that mental stack. And then like on top of that, now you have the opponent going, okay, fuck, I can't open this guy up, and now and I've lost all this life trying to do it, and now he
yeah.
has gigas.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like that's what he plays it in a way where he's frustrating the other player because he's like, dude, why am I keep getting hit by some shades throwing out, or like why can't I get a hit on him, right? Because he's willing to just be at a spot where like, okay, I'm not gonna jump in and I'm not gonna let you jump in on me, right? So
Hmm.
we'll do it. We just go back and forth to I probably eventually build the damage, and
Hmm.
he and he might not land an SPD made on the round, but he got him, right?
Hmm.
So imagine you're already thinking, well, shit, he's already out poking me, and if I try to do a jumping or something, he pairs it. He has SPD, he
Hmm.
has gigas. You know, it's already something you have to think about, right? And you're already here trying to scramble for an answer, right?
Hmm.
So it's yeah, that's why I'm thinking that now my strong point is I'm willing to wait it out. I'm
Hmm.
willing to pretty much wait a bit more, like let you try to do stuff to see if you can actually open me up, because yeah, once you start frustrating people, it's you can start noticing certain habits, right?
Hmm.
And then you can start going for stuff. So yeah, it's Hayao is a master at that. It is
Dude, Hayao's so
crazy.
solid. Like,
Dude, his
Hayao's
giga
so
setups are
solid.
so they're like total assisted, dude. That dude is for sure Skynet,
Yeah.
dude. I
Oh
used to
yeah, yeah.
use
Let's.
Skynet.
Yeah, speaking of
Dude,
Skynet, speaking of
yeah,
Skynet, let's before we end this podcast, I wanted to kind of address the whole the macro nasty. It's become a meme at this point. So you're so godlike with Hugo
the
that people just
macros,
assume that you're using macros. So
the
just tell me kind of
macros.
how where that came from and how that kind of came about.
That's fucking Jesse hater over there, dude. Fucking hater over there, dude.
Is it Katie just spreading these
Yeah, Jesse just being a fucking hater over there and just spreading rumors because he couldn't handle being hit by gigas, dude.
You hear that, Katie?
Nah, dude, but also it started because Okay, Jesse, of course, and then I just ran with it. But
Uh,
also was I got accused of it a lot of times online too, dude.
yeah, yeah.
Because damn it, dude, it was hilarious, dude. Like during the, and this goes back. This even goes back to when I started playing online Third Strike.
Hmm.
People who didn't think that it was possible to land consistent SPDs online.
Hmm.
So I got accused about macros a lot of times online, dude, a lot. And once people started hitting them with partition gigas,
Uh-huh.
they were just like,
They
okay,
were
dude, you're
convinced
cheating.
you were cheating. They were
Yeah, they
convinced
were
you were
convinced.
cheating.
That was the nail on the coffin, dude. That's what solidified it to them that this guy is using macros or he's cheating somehow or he's a tool assisted, some shit, dude. So I remember I even told Jesse, like, oh yeah, dude, like everybody's been accusing me about this shit for years, dude. So, you know, I think for me the funniest instance was what you call it? Oh, I played Justin on a set online a few months back, and I hit him with the same thing I hit Lance on Frosty Fostings when I paired the first kick of SA3 into Gigas for the round. And I hit Justin with that on his stream too. And Justin put it on his Twitter, and then someone commented like, "How is that even possible? Like, there's no way you can do that." And some guy on below that comment typed, "Oh, that dude has admitted that he uses macros before." I was like, dude, no way people are taking it serious, dude. No way they're actually this guy's taking me serious that I use macros, dude. So yeah, every time someone tells me like, hey man, are you using macros? I'm like, oh yeah, man, I have like one button for you guys, dude. So it's just, I just can't take it to the caps, but yeah, dude, it makes everything easier. So I just go with it now, dude. It's just
Well,
Jesse's the one
lucky.
who spread it out. Jesse's the one who spread it out more though.
Well, lucky for you, Caesar. We are gonna have USB decoders at the finale. So if you want,
Oh shit, dude.
if you want to use your
Yeah,
macro
dude.
enabled input device
Hey
at
man,
the,
I might have a chance to do top three this year, dude. You shouldn't have told me, dude, because I might have to take the stick or
you
something,
need to
dude. I
bring
might
your
have
own
to do it,
stick to
dude.
the finale.
Yeah, I might have to.
Yeah.
I might have, dude, this okay. Look, I'm gonna show you what I play with, dude.
Okay, let's
This
see.
is this is the stick that I play with.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is it, dude. Like
Uh-huh.
I don't play with anything else, dude. And this shit is, has the basic stuff in it. And so
Uh-huh.
every time I get accused using macros, dude, and not even actually, not even on Third Strike, dude. I have gotten accused of using macros on Children of the Atom and on Garo. On Garo, dude. Marco Wolves, dude. I've been accused of using macros on those two as well, dude. That's how infamous that shit is now, dude. They should just call me the macro guy at this
It's
point.
impossible for you to have excellent execution.
Yeah,
These are
it's impossible to do
impossible,
it
impossible.
online, dude.
Online. Well, let's talk a little bit offline. So, obviously, you qualified for the season 5 Jazzy finale by winning your the auto qualifier at Arcade UFO, and the finale is just a couple weeks away.
Hmm.
And so, like, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the Jazzy finale. What are some things that you're looking forward to? As I alluded to earlier, finalists technically don't have to play until Sunday if they want to. And so I know that in previous finales, well, I know in the first finale you qualified through points, so you didn't have to go through LCQ. Um, and by the way, shout outs to the Hugo suit that you wore at the
Oh yeah,
first
dude. I'm thinking of
Jazzy
maybe
finale.
bringing it back,
No,
dude. I'm thinking
dog,
of bringing
please,
it
no,
back.
no, 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 no. No, you're trying to play ball with Jesse. Then you're gonna put yourself in a Hugo suit. You're not gonna. There's not gonna be any of you left on Sunday to play.
Nah, dude, I would not play with the
Don't
Hugo
get
suit, dude. That'd be
baited. Don't
crazy.
get baited.
So yeah, dude.
Don't get baited. Because if you take a charge and you hurt your wrist or something, I'm not trying to speak into existence, but I am not a big
Hey,
fan of this
knock
basketball
on wood,
idea.
dude. Knock on wood.
Not a big fan of this basketball idea. But
Yeah,
anyway,
no,
provided
yeah.
that you make it in one piece to Sunday. Yeah, just tell me kind of your thoughts on competing in this year's finale. Um, you know, I'm sure all of the people that have qualified or may end up going, but what are some of what are some of your thoughts leading into this finale, especially as someone who again doesn't have to go through LCQ. You can just kind of chill and wait until Sunday.
Well, I mean, I'm just really excited, dude. I just
Hmm.
want it to be that weekend already. I'm really excited to go be able to hang out with everyone again. I mean, I haven't hung out with like all the Third Strike people in a long time. So if it feels like, like I don't know, dude. I'm like I just want to catch up to everyone, dude.
Hmm.
I've been so busy with work, my kid, the house, stuff like that, that I haven't been able to keep up with everyone. So like this weekend, I'll be able to talk to everyone, chill with everyone, have a beer, just chill, whatever, just talk. So I'm really like excited and happy, dude, because I'm always have a good time with everyone, dude. I mean, it always like lift up my spirits whenever I'm hanging out with everyone. Everybody's telling me how they're doing. How they've been playing. Shit that's going with their life. We just shooting this shit, playing Third Strike, drinking, playing more Third Strike. Just hanging out, dude. Just it's so cool, man. Like I'm always excited to just go and have a good time and it's gonna happen on Ikavar. I mean Akihabara. I can never say the name right, dude. I'm so excited it's gonna be there, dude. That venue is so fucking nice, dude. It's so sick, dude. It's probably my favorite arcade venue that I've been to. I mean, there have been a lot to it, but there's something about Aki, dude. I don't know how to describe it, dude. It has like a really nice charm to it. That it just makes me feel like I don't want to leave the place, dude. It's so cool, man. And then, like I said, it was gonna be there, so what's not to be excited about, man?
Hmm.
I'm just ready, dude. I'm ready to just see everyone, and of course, uh, I've been trying to get ready for the competition. Like I've been trying to squeeze whatever I can play right now, just so I don't get blown up. But we'll see, dude. Like, of course, dude. I don't wanna uh disappoint people when I play. So I'm still trying to play as much as I can. Try to squeeze whatever sessions I can. But I know it's gonna be tough, dude. I mean, dude, I know if they're already there for on Sunday, that I know that there's gonna be some killers out there, and so I'm a bit nervous about that, but I'm looking forward to it, dude. Like I said, I didn't make it to the last year, so I'm ready. I'm ready this time.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Aki. Yeah, I just remembered like you actually went to Aki before I did.
Yeah.
You competed in Coin Op Cup in season 1 of the Jazzy finale, I think, and
Mm.
you went there, and you haven't been back since, right?
No, dude. No, I
Wow,
haven't.
yeah, Aki's changed a lot from what I've heard, and so
Oh
I
wow.
think you're really gonna, I think you're gonna really like it, and you were talking about the vibe at Aki, and all credit goes to the owner, Brandon. He really wanted to create something that felt authentically like as close as possible to a Japanese game center, and
Hmm.
with some modern touches. He has the bar area and everything, but a lot of it's just it's just Brandon doesn't take any shortcuts when it comes to that venue.
Hmm.
All his machines are in pristine condition. And he just loves, the fighting games, and lucky for us, he really loves Third Strike. And so yeah, looking forward to running it back at Aki in a couple weeks. Looking forward to seeing you, Caesar. Like I was saying, it's gonna be a pretty, a light, you know, weekend leading up to Sunday. Unlike the one at Free Play, I know you had to compete at the in the LCQ, but like you were
Yeah.
saying, it gives you a time to catch up with everyone. Let everyone. It also gives you an opportunity. It gives everyone an opportunity to show you your flowers. During that weekend. As you're walking around with another one of those finalist medals. You
Oh
know.
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Sick.
yeah. But yeah, man. Looking forward to seeing you at the finale. Looking forward to seeing you compete, as always, with that sick Hugo. But before we get out of here, is there anything you wanted to kind of say before we wrap things up here?
Yeah, I mean, uh, as I was mentioning earlier, dude, like I never really did thank everyone when who helped out for the when I was getting my house, I had like a fundraiser to just help me build up for the down payment and stuff like the closing costs and stuff like that. So, guys, anybody who contributed to that, I apologize. Like it took me so long to get to this. I kind of realized like I never really properly thank you guys for that. But what I just wanted to say is like thank you for everyone who donated to that. Anybody who took their time to show up to the stream, to donate, to play. It means a lot to me. Like I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at with all this right here. My kid, my wife, me, like I wouldn't be able to be here without you guys. Like you have no idea how much it means to me. Like I haven't forgotten about you guys. That's what I'm saying. Like I consider you all guys family. Like I said before, if you guys are ever in Houston, for any band like tournament or whatever, if you guys need a place to like crash for that event or whatever, you're always gonna have a place here to crash. You guys are more than welcome to stop by. Like I'm always will always be grateful for that. So I'm always, I just want to say thank you again. You guys made this possible. I wouldn't be here where I'm at, if it wasn't for you guys. It means a lot to me again. I just don't know how to say it, dude. It's indescribable how I was feeling when you guys were doing this for me. It's crazy. Like I never thought that it was gonna happen that way. And it's something that I feel like I will never ever repay properly to you guys. So whatever I can do, I'm always available for whatever you need whenever you need me. Um, like I said, you guys are family to me, man. I know it sounds for some people might sound weird or corny or whatever, but believe me, like I always felt like you guys are part of my family, like my secondary family. So thanks again. Uh, Anything you need, just let me know, man. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
So I hope to see you guys at the finale, and if you're not there, just keep in touch, man. Whenever I'm there, let's play or something. So just don't think that I'm not accepting. It's just that I had to walk away from the laptop, the computer sometimes. But
Hmm. Yeah. Well,
yeah, that was the main thing.
no, shout outs to you, Caesar. Glad that you're doing well. You're, a great Hugo player, an even greater person. And so, looking forward to seeing you in action at Aki. And speaking of Aki, again, Jazzy Finale weekend, June 21st through 23rd. There's still event passes available. Come join us. We got 3 days of Third Strike. And so we not only do we got the team tournament on Friday and LCQ on Saturday, we have the Jazzy Finale, which of course Caesar's going to be a part of. We also got some great side events. We got Marvel on Friday, Super Turbo on Saturday, and remember, just like last year, we had 2 streams, and so that other stream is going to be open for Third Strike side events. And hopefully we can get all of the official stuff done, so that everyone can kind of play casuals and run whatever they want. And so yeah, definitely stay tuned on our social media platforms. We're gonna have a little bit more to talk about with regards to Third Strike side events. Really excited about that. And so yeah, Caesar, again, thanks for coming by. Again, Big Nasty 33620. If they want to support your run to Jazzy, and again, just kind of support you in general, how can they follow you, Caesar? How can they keep in touch with you?
Well, mainly the main way they can keep touch with me is through my Twitter. That's pretty much. I know I don't post there too much, but that's pretty much my main way of
Hmm.
what's it called? That's mostly where I what you call it, post anything Third Strike related. And also, I mean, if anybody wants to add me on Discord, they're more than welcome to. But yeah, for my Twitter, it's like my Twitter it's at big nasty underscore 3620. If you guys want to add me on Twitter, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, I don't post there too much, but I still pop in there from time to time. And if you guys want to add me on Discord as well, you're more than welcome to. I mean, it's what's it called? It's the one that's on there. It's gonna be Big Nasty 3620 no underscore. So if you guys want to add me on there as well, you're more than welcome to, man. No problem.
Awesome, awesome. Well, again, appreciate you, Big Nasty, and we will see you at the Jazzy Finale.
And of course, thank you again for having me, dude. And guys, don't forget to register, please. Don't
Start.gg
forget to
slash Jazzy
register.
3S.
Please don't forget to register, man. Come on, guys, be better than that. Don't leave it last minute.
All right, well, we'll see y'all next time on Jazzy Talk. Take care, everyone.
All right, guys.